Repetition is the father of learning. Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Chakwadash. Double honors to my apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 19. And it reads, "The portion of Jacob is not like them. He is the former of all things." And who is the portion of Jacob? Jacob represents the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and Israelite foreigners scattered. And the portion of Jacob is talking about our Heavenly Father, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. It says the portion of Jacob is not like them. And them is referencing to these idols. You know, in the last part I did going into this chapter, you know, the scriptures above goes in to these false idols, and there's no breath in them, you know. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, he's not like these idols. It says, "For he is the former of all things." Yeah, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, he's the creator of heaven and earth. He's the creator of all things. It says in Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts, this is his name. And the nation of Israel is special to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. The nation of Israel, starting with the elect, is the apple of the Lord's eye, his peculiar treasure. In the near future, he's going to set the nation of Israel on top, and they're going to be glorified and beautified, and the kingdom of heaven is going to be established. And this kingdom is going to be an everlasting kingdom. And righteousness is going to dwell in this kingdom. Verse 20 says, "Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms." So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, he's preparing his men, his elect men, the 144,000 men, to be his battle axe and weapons of war. All right? So that's telling you the elect men are going to be given spiritual power. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to give his elect men spiritual power to break the nations into pieces and to destroy the nation's kingdom, their dominion. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 15. It says, "But the righteous live forevermore." The righteous is going to the elect with the nation of Israel. It says, "Their reward also is with the Lord, and the care of them is with the Most High, and their reward is the kingdom of heaven." It says, "Therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom and a beautiful crown from the Lord's hand." So the Lord is going to crown his elect. 2 Ezra chapter 2 speaks about that. It says, "For his right hand, for with his right hand shall he cover them, and with his arm shall he protect them. He shall take to him his jealousy for complete armor, and make the creature his weapon for the revenge of his enemies." All right, so that creature is going into the elect. We go into the word creature, it comes from the word creation, right? So as elect men, Yahweh Shem Shah's elect men are going to be his weapon for the revenge of his enemies. And who are the Lord's enemies? These heathen nations, all right? Starting with Esau, Edom, the so-called white race, right? Yahweh Shem Shah hates you nations, and he's going to use his chosen men to destroy you and destroy your kingdoms. This is Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 12. It says, thus said Yahweh Shem Shah power, because that Edom had dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and had greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. And who's the nation of Edom? The so-called white race. They had greatly offended the nation of Israel. They have a lot of Israelite blood on their hands, all right? Esau, Edom took upon himself to slay his brother, you know, because of the blessing Jacob had received. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it. And that hand represents power. So Yahweh Shem Shah is about to stretch his power upon Edom. It says, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. It says, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. So Yahweh Shem Shah is going to use his people, his chosen nation, the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, all right, to lay vengeance, retaliation, revenge upon the nation of Edom, the so-called white race. It says, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury. So this vengeance, the Lord's going to put his anger on his people, you know, because we may be angry, you know, we hate our enemies, but our anger, our fury is not compared to Yahweh Shem Shah's anger and his fury. So he's going to put all his fury and anger upon his elect, all right? And a lot of violence is going to take place, and that's going to be done by spiritual power. It says, they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah power. And the Lord's name is going to be exalted in that day. And as I mentioned, the Lord is going to use his men. As it says in Jeremiah 51:20, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. So this is what's coming for the heathen nations. Destruction is going to be done through the Lord's men. It says, and with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. Going into these armies, the elect men are going to be given that spiritual power to also destroy these armies, these nations and their armies. It says, with thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. So it shows you Yahweh Shem Shah is not a respect of persons, all right? When he gives his elect men spiritual power, they're going to destroy man, woman, young and old. Don't care if you're a newborn baby or elderly woman or man. If you're not of the elect, you're going to be destroyed. This is Romans chapter 2, verse 11. It says, for there is no respect of persons with the Most High. So basically, this verse is going to Yahweh Shem Shah. He's not about favoritism, right? As I mentioned, if you're not of the elect, guess what? You in for a rude awakening, all right? And a lot of people are about to be humble in that day, all right? All those that went up against the men of the Lord, all right? They're going to have to pay, and the Lord is going to use his men to take vengeance, to lay vengeance upon you wicked people, right? Especially the women, right? The women are going to be humbled in that day. And I want to go into about 2 scriptures to show you that Yahweh Shem Shah don't care who you are. This is 1 Samuel chapter 15. I'm going to start verse 2. It says, thus say Yahweh Shem Shah of hosts. Word hosts meaning armies. You know, Exodus 15:3. Let's get that real quick. Exodus 15:3, it says, Yahweh Shem Shah is a man of war. Yahweh Shem Shah is his name, right? So the Heavenly Father is a man of war, right? And he deal with soldiers, all right? It says, 1 Samuel 15:2, thus say Yahweh Shem Shah of hosts. I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. And today, the nation of Amalek come from the nation of Edom, right? And Amalek are the so-called Jews, the small hats, the wannabe Jews, the Jewish. It says, verse 3, now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. So Yahweh Shem Shah commanded Saul to destroy the Amalekites. And he says, spare them not. He says, slay man and woman, infant and suckling, all right, ox and sheep, camel and ass. So he said this, he commanded Saul to slay man and woman, children and babies. Yahweh Shem Shah, he's not a respect of persons. This is Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. It says, and Yahweh Shem Shah said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And going to the word mark, that's going into dawah, which means exempt from judgment. Let's go to it real quick. The Hebrew word for mark is dawah, and it says mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. So it says, Ezekiel 9:5, and to the others he said in my hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have pity. Pity means no compassion, no mercy. It says, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, or come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. See, so in the near future, those that don't have that dawah, that exemption from judgment, all right, they're gonna be slayed, they're gonna be destroyed, all right, through the Lord's men, all right. Jeremiah 51:23. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock, and with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen, and with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. So Yahweh Shema Shah, once again, is going to use his elect men to destroy, right, the shepherd and his flock, right, the heathen nations, their armies, the captains, the rulers, the kings of the earth, the presidents, the false prophets and their congregation, right, they're going to be destroyed. Thus say Yahweh Shema Shah. It says, and I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, say Yahweh Shema Shah. So basically, Yahweh Shema Shah is going to repay Babylon the Great, Esau, Edom, the heathen nations, for all they have done, all the evil they have done to the nation of Israel. And they show you that this Babylon is talking about America, because the Babylonian Empire fell by the Medes and Persian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, right? Not us. So this Babylon in this chapter is going to Babylon the Great, aka America. Let's go to Jeremiah 50:14. Yeah, Jeremiah 50:14. It says, put yourself in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows. For she has sent against Yahweh Shema Shah. And this is going into the other nations. You're going to have Russia, China, Iran, right? North Korea. You're also going to have other nations, even America allies. They're going to turn on her, right? And her is referring to America, all right? And that bow, them arrows, are going into the nuclear missiles, the 200 million warheads that's coming to Babylon the Great to destroy it, right? It says, shout against her round about. She have given her hand, her foundations are fallen, her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahweh Shema Shah. Take vengeance upon her, as she had done, do unto her. So all that America has been doing, terrorizing the place, it's going to be done to her, all right? And it's going to be completely destroyed, all right? And this is the vengeance of Yahweh Shema Shah. It shows you that Yahweh Shema Shah is in control of all things. He controls these kings, all right? Let's get that real quick. Get straight to it. It's Proverbs chapter 21, verse 1. It says, the king's heart is in the hands of Yahweh Shema Shah. As a river of waters, he turneth it whithersoever he will. All right? So Yahweh Shema Shah, he directs the minds of these kings, all right? All right? Yahweh Shema Shah is controlling the mind of Putin, all right? That's why Putin is ready to shoot the missiles off at Babylon the Great, right? And this is all done by Yahweh Shema Shah. These nations, these kings, they're all chess pieces, right? And Yahweh Shema Shah, he's in control of all things. And he's controlling them. He's putting that war spirit in these other nations, all right, to destroy Babylon the Great. Jeremiah 50:29 says, call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she had done, do unto her, for she is proud against Yahweh Shema Shah, against the Holy One of Israel. Yeah, Babylon the Great is the most proud, all right? Esau, Edom is the most proud, all right? That's why his kingdom got to be destroyed. Esau, Edom thinks he's the most high, all right? He think he can't be touched, all right? But in the near future, his rulership is going to be completely destroyed, and he's going right into slavery, all right? Jeremiah 51:25. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, say Yahweh Shema Shah, which destroy all the earth. Yeah, and that destroying mountain is America. America is the top nation among the earth, right? That destroys the whole earth. For example, they go around terrorizing the place and all the nations. They go around bullying and taking, robbing and stealing and killing, polluting the air, polluting the land and the people, right? So Yahweh Shema Shah is going to make America a burnt mountain by nuclear fire. Jeremiah 50:23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? And that hammer of the earth is Babylon the Great, aka America. All right, what a hammer is used to do, to demolish, to destroy. Right. So Babylon the Great is that hammer. All right, and they go around destroying everything. All right, if they can't get it, they destroy it and take it. Right? As I said, they destroy, they terrorize, they pollute the land, they destroy the land and the people, right? So Yahweh Shema Shah is about to repay Babylon for all she has done, especially for what she has done to the nation of Israel. Jeremiah 51:26. And they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundations, but thou shalt be desolate forever, say Yahweh Shema Shah. Yeah, because, Babylon the Great won't be rebuilt. This place is going to be desolate forever. There'll not be a stone to rebuild, all right? A brick to rebuild this place, all right? Once these missiles are shot off, all right, the 200 million warheads come to Babylon the Great, this place is going to be desolate forever, Let's go back to Jeremiah 50:40. It says, as the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities thereof, say Yahweh Shema Shah of hosts, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Right? So the same way ancient Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed is going to be the same way Babylon the Great is destroyed. And Babylon the Great is spiritually Sodom and Gomorrah. You see what's going on today. They got the spooky transformers and all the creatures walking around here, right? The homosexuals. So the Lord had to destroy this place. Let's go to Genesis 19:24. Genesis 19:24. Then Yahweh Shema Shah rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone fire from the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah of heaven. Right? And he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground. Right? So the same way Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed back then is the same way Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed. That's by fire and brimstone. Isaiah 13:19. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. How'd that happen? We just read it. Genesis 19:24. This place is going to be destroyed by fire and brimstone from the nuclear missiles. 200 million warheads, right, are going to leave Babylon the Great desolate. It says it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelled from generation to generation. So this place is going to be desolate forever. Neither shall the Arabian prince tent there, neither shall the shepherd make their fold there. All right, so you ain't going to have these heathen nations come here to set up shop to make their monies to become successful. All right, it says, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and the houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. All right, so this is going to be a land, after the Babylon the Great be destroyed, it's going to be a land, for a home for desolate creatures. And men won't be able to dwell in Babylon the Great anymore. But I'm going to end here. Lord willing, you will edify. Shalom.